come up with mechanisms to engage the youth.
Northern Governors Forum meets Inspector General of Police and Chief of Staff to the President, sets up committee to engage youth.
Last year's budget was cut by 30%.
Nigeria to deploy automated early flood warning system in 2021. War on cybercrime. Federal government arraigns suspects before Abuja High Court.
It will definitely affect the healthcare delivery in the state.
Plus, fear and uncertainty grip Calabar residents following the NSAS attack on medical facilities. Hello there and a warm welcome to the NTA Network News. My name is Kenen Ima Abodike. Adeola Komiakere will be reading from Lagos while Dibabari Sieduma Weke is in Port Harcourt. The federal government is reassuring Nigerians and the international community that everything will be done within the limits of the law towards ascertaining the veracity or otherwise of all the allegations of impunity in the country with a view to dealing appropriately with those found wanting. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, who said this, however, warned against rushing to judgment without getting to know the fact. The minister was speaking at an interactive engagement with international journalists in the country. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has the report.
The media parley attended by the Ministers of Foreign Affairs, Defense, Finance, Justice, Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, as well as Executive Secretary, National Human Rights Commission, was organized by the Presidential Communications Team to put the record straight as regards recent developments in the country occasioned by the NSAS protests.
There have been different kinds of reportage, particularly from the international media. Some informed, some not quite informed, some downright incorrect. And we just felt it was necessary to invite these international journalists so that we can share perspectives with them. Because if they have background information, I don't think journalists set out deliberately to skew reports.
Consequently, the ministers took turns to put into perspectives issues relating to their areas of jurisdiction. Justice Minister Abubakar Malami in particular told the journalists that with fake news, hate speeches and photoshopping now the order of the day in Nigeria, no single allegation of impunity in respect of the Lekki incident can be taken hook, line and sinker.
Our position as a government is that the element of shooting or otherwise, deaths or otherwise, relating to the Lekki scene is indeed a subject of investigation.
The military lured to participate in this operation. That is what we understood, and we are restrained by the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces not to use force in any way. So who ordered the shooting? We ordered for an investigation, and it's still on.
All the actions taken by government in that regard are very clear to everybody. As a commitment to respecting the right of the protesters, you will agree with me that the protests were not violent, their rights were respected, there was nobody molested, and there was no incident until when the hoodlums took over.
I really don't see exactly how this protest affects the PIB at all. In fact, the PIB is to help to resolve some of these issues around job creation. A lot of opportunities will be created, and we also believe that the PIB is going to enable a lot of investment, new investments come into Nigeria.
Finance Minister Zainab Ahmed insists that the Buhari administration deserves commendation for keeping the economy running despite the negative impact of COVID-19 as well as the crash in the crude oil price.
The President directed that we must make sure that salaries are paid, so we have not defaulted in paying salaries. We have been able to provide running costs to government on a continuous basis. We've even been able to provide capital funding that is higher than even previous years, that in terms of performance prorated than previous years that we didn't have a recession.
Foreign Affairs Minister Geoffrey Onyama described as unfortunate that some countries made comments in respect of the NSAS protests in Nigeria that were critical, but only to realize later that they were jumping the guns.
What was accepted as fact, turning out not to have been the case.
The interactive engagement between the federal government officials and media practitioners continues. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami says the federal government is working to end impunity for crimes against journalists. This is contained in a message commemorating the United Nations International Day to End Impunity for Crimes Against Journalists. The minister said the 2020 Global Index for Impunity for Crimes Against Journalists by the Committee to Protect Journalists, CPJ, released on Wednesday, 28th October, indicates that Nigeria is no longer among the countries with impunity for crimes against journalists. Malami described the achievement as a result of deliberate commitments of President Muhammadu Buhari through the implementation of many reforms in the Nigerian justice sector to include increased access to justice, speedy justice dispensation, decongestion of correctional centers, and judicious implementation of the Criminal Justice Act and justice sector reforms. Now, Northern Governors Forum has resolved to set up Youth and Civil Society Committee to engage Nigerian youths with a view to addressing their pressing demands and put to rest their agitations. Muhammadu Umar Ajinge reports that the governors arrived at the decision in Kaduna after an engagement with the Inspector General of Police, Muhammad Adamu, and Chief of Staff to the President, Professor Ibrahim Gambari.
Order they came in. The governors, traditional rulers, principal officers of the National Assembly led by the Senate President, Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Muhammad, and Chief of Staff to the President, Professor Ibrahim Gambari, to discuss issues affecting the country. The most recent NSAS protest and its hijack top discussions as the governors listened to submissions by the Inspector General of Police and the Chief of Staff to the President on efforts made by the federal government to contain the incidences that trailed the protest after its hijack.
The appeal of Mr. President is that the governors of the states and the traditional rulers to support the government as it seeks to achieve the objective of Mr. President, which is to have a stable, prosperous, and secure nation.
As the custodians of our traditional and communal values, I urge our royal fathers to draw on your communal reverence and social control instrument in engendering a moral revival and in instilling a sense of patriotism in our youth.
Should come up with mechanisms to engage the youth in such a manner that we're able to tackle some of the issues that they face.
Coming up with a control mechanism on social media to check spreading of fake news, setting up a youth committee to entertain their worries, including supporting the traditional rulers to talk to their subjects, were among resolutions by the leaders.
This administration realized that the next epidemic that will hit the world will be fake news. Based on that, my ministry organized a National Council of Information meeting in Jos Plateau State to address the issue of fake news and hate speech.
The meeting approved the setting up of two major engagement committees. A, Committee on Roles of Traditional Rulers, membership, the Emir of Lafia as chairman, 2 representatives from the National Assembly, 1 representative from each of the 3 zones, 1 from Federal Executive Council.
The forum commended President Muhammadu Buhari for meeting the demands of youth and the leadership qualities shown by the National Assembly during the unfortunate incident. In Kaduna, I am Muhammad Umar Ajingi, NTA News.
Meanwhile, about 420 officers and men of the newly formed Special Weapons and Tactics Team of the Nigerian Police Force are currently undergoing training at the Mobile Police Force Training School in Dehi Hill, Nasarawa. Francis Form reports.
SAS out, SWAT in. SWAT, a creation of agitations against SARS, so their conduct is what the public is eager to see.
2 assault rifles recovered. I confirm and to withdraw my men over.
Young, smart and energetic, drawn from different formations, with 7 to 10 years working experience and a clean record of service. These are the requirements. Temporary landlords, as it were, at the Mobile Police Force Training Facility in NTA Hills, Nasarawa, busy with drills, professional ethics, intelligence gathering, hostage tactics, and weapon handling.
Nigerians should accept good performance and sound professionalism with human face, because the whole training and the SWAT exercise is intelligence-driven operation.
The Minister of the Supervising Ministry, here again to supervise the personnel with a moral-boosting message.
Government will continue to do whatever is possible to ensure that you perform creditably. Mr. President is fully committed to reforming the police in this country.
And we see that the training, both the tactical and the armed and unarmed training, is going excellently well.
The SWAT's training is taking place in 3 police force training schools across the country. In Abuja, Francis Form, NTA News.
In its efforts to check the rising spate of cybercrime and advanced fee fraud in Nigeria, the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation has arraigned 2 suspects before the Federal High Court in Abuja on 10-count charge of advanced fee fraud and other related offences. Judiciary correspondent Femi Okewo was in court and now reports.
In order to show the importance the federal government attaches to sanitizing the image of Nigeria in the area of cybercrime, advanced fee fraud, and money laundering, the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, is personally prosecuting the case. The suspects, one Babatunde Adesonya of Agbado, Ogun State, and Akinpelu Hassan Abbas of Meron, Lagos State, along with their company, Master Point Investment Nigeria Limited, are facing a 10-count charge of advanced fee fraud and other related offences Act 2006. They were alleged to have, among others, defrauded one Frederick Van Haar of the sum of €880,000. They all pleaded not guilty to the 10-count charge. They are to remain in prison custody until Monday the 9th of November, when their application for bail will be heard by the court. In Abuja, Femi Okewo, NTA News.
You're watching NTA Network News. Let's go for a break.
If you run mad, we know waiting cause am. Every time na this phone. Have you gone to buy more units for light? Give me this phone. Ha! They don't finally get you. Enter store, you go see one pink nylon. Bring and come. If you try am.
Now that chicken where they use can I look me. Now I want to. That one.
Oh! So now why you send me message when no get with this? Shate. Make yourself begin to enjoy credit and data. Berekete.
Introducing Berekete. Activate a new glow sale and get 600 Naira free credit plus 700% bonus on every recharge and up to 100% bonus on data plans. Find your first with Berekete. Glow Unlimited.
Small beginnings, only stepping stones to bigger things. That's our philosophy at Premium Pension. And so no matter the size of your money, our team of expert fund managers invested wisely and actively to make sure your money is always working as hard as you do. After all, the things we're building today can help shape your future in the long run. And with the right partner by your side, the one thing you're sure to do is soar. Premium Pension. Active today, premium tomorrow.
Oh yeah, I want to go then.
Don't touch me. I will get you arrested.
Carefully. Very, very witty.
They told me you are the best around here.
What can I do for you, sir?
I want my own very, very simple. I don't want any shine. If I see any shine.
Actually, I'd love some sequins on my skirt. And I don't like any frills. I beg, I want frills on mine. But it must not be too tight.
Tight! That tight now, that is what I want. And the transition.
Oh, you know what? I want a gown. Me too. I want a gown to wear.
You know what GMS are doing this? Did you capture all the information?
Of course not.
Actually.
Fantastic.
I give my customers what they love because everyone has their unique style. So why should they wear the same thing? Just like MTN for me, which gives unique data and recharge offers just the way you like it. Just dial *121# and turn up great offers every day.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Hello, madam. Would you like to join us on this mission?
Yes, but how?
Just one question for you. How do you keep your toilet clean?
I use regular detergent and bleach for washing and removing yellow stains. I have been using it for years.
Oh, madam. The regular detergents and bleach are used for washing clothes.
To disinfect your toilet properly, you need Harpic 10X. It is specially made for germs and stains remover. Harpic sticker formula settles on stains and gives 10 times better cleaning compared to regular detergent and bleach.
Wow! Now I'm convinced, Helen Paul.
Really?
Yeah.
Now that she's part of the mission, the next house is yours.
Do you know that social media is not good or bad, and that it is you who is using it that is either good or bad? Bad social media users spread rumors and fake news without verification. But good social media users stop, verify the information, and reflect before sharing it. Now, are you a good social media user? Stop the spread of fake news. Verify the authenticity of your source for a better Nigeria.
This message is from the National Orientation Agency.
Thank you for staying with us. 15 Nigerian youths who have distinguished themselves in various innovative skills have been recognized by the federal government for contributing to national development, especially at this time that the country is looking inward for requisite skills. This was at the maiden edition of the National Youth Day, celebrated every November 1st, as approved by the Federal Executive Council. Ruth Aguele reports.
You introduced me to kidnapping, but even at that, you get money from me.
Nigerian youths have been given the accolades in different ways as they continue to break boundaries in diverse fields. In view of this recognition, the federal government is commemorating the National Youth Day to validate their contributions to national development.
The theme of this year's National Youth Day, which is Invest in the Youth, Secure Our Future, comes at the most appropriate time.
We all have different programs under our ministries geared towards supporting our youth to aspire to be what they want to be.
As stakeholders jointly look for the options for a better society devoid of violence, but rather dream of a future full of hopes and aspirations for our youth.
So we offer a handshake, to the Ministry of Youth and Sport to see how we can nurture these young innovators.
President Muhammadu Buhari, in a message through the Minister of the FCT, Mohammed Musa Bello, said the pivotal role played by Nigerian youths cannot be ignored.
This government extends the hand to you all to come and join in meaningful dialogue so that we can chart a way forward.
Some of the youths were awarded with prize of 1 million naira for their contributions in innovative ideas and app development.
To allow protest is not a sign of weakness. because it is indeed a sign of strength and belief in democracy.
It will give other people like hope and, think that, okay, Nigeria government are actually looking out for youths.
It shows a lot that there is still something out there for me to gain.
The official logo of the 75 billion naira Nigeria Youth Investment Fund for the period of 2020 to 2023 was unveiled in Abuja. Ruth Aguala, NTA News.
Youths in the country have been advised to eschew violence, desist from wanton destruction of public utilities, and support government strategic measures to revamp the economy. Minister of Foreign Affairs Jeffrey Onyama gave the advice at a town hall meeting with traditional rulers and representatives of youth organizations in Enugu State. Chika Ugu reports that the meeting was aimed at charting a way forward following the recent NSAS protests across the country.
It was an interactive forum, one which afforded participants the opportunity to bear their minds on critical issues of national importance. One after the other, they recounted their frustration on certain anomalies in the Nigerian sector economic space, which has led to the recent protest that was hijacked by hoodlums. While some expressed displeasure at the cost of governance and the poor condition of service of security agents, especially the police.
Dedicate that fund for empowerment of our students so that they can actually become good researchers, and of course use it as an incentive for professors to invent something in the university.
It will be a continuing process. It's not once and for all.
Minister of Foreign Affairs Geoffrey Onyama told the gathering that government is attending to the demands of the youths, with special focus on reforming the police in tackling the disturbing insecurity in the country.
The way Mr. President responded when the demonstration started and there was 5-point demand, he immediately set up institutional mechanisms to address the 5 points that were raised by the NSAS movement.
The town hall meeting is coming days after a similar one was held by the Southeast Governors Forum in Enugu State. A minute's silence was observed by the forum for those who lost their lives in the violent protests across the country. In Enugu, Chika Ugu, NTA News.
Over 500 out of the 5,000 youths that will be engaged in the construction of Mambila hydroelectricity project will commence training in different fields before the end of the year. The Minister of Power, Saleh Maman, was speaking at a peace-building interactive session with stakeholders in Taraba State. Joseph Otson reports that the meeting is in line with presidential directive that all ministers return to their various states and interface with youths on the way forward.
The meeting is in line with the presidential directive that all ministers return to respective states and engage stakeholders and youth groups as part of measures towards addressing demands of the NSAS protests. Organized by the Minister of Power, Saleh Maman, representatives of various youth groups, women, and civil society organizations all had time to express views concerning youth development and good governance.
Any project that involved the youth must carry the youth along. Whatsoever government plans to do in the country, let there be what we call a need assessment at the community level and at the group level.
We will only succeed peace building when we behave well, when we shun religion sentiment.
Our children need scholarship.
So we want to disabuse your minds that we are not here to stay, but rather we are here to give you mentorship, to groom you, to lay a very solid foundation so that that will be our legacy.
On what the federal government has been doing to empower youth and women.
Very soon, Mambila project is going to start, and in this project, we are going to employ a lot of people, minimum of not less than 5,000. Before the end of the month, we are going to train 500 to start with. Technicians, electricians, bricklayers, welders, and so on.
Most of the participants crave for more of such interface as a way of carrying everyone along with government policies. In Jalingo, Joseph Sound Otsen, NTA News.
Now, Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Sanda Dare, has stated that no nation is worth its salt without proper legislation. This was during a meeting with the Nigerian youth parliamentarians. As members of the youth parliament, the minister noted they are bound to gain experience, which is most critical in governance. As regards budgeting, he assured the parliamentarians that he will ensure that what is meant for them is not taken out during budget defense.
It is regrettable that people died. It is regrettable that some other elements hijacked the protest. It is regrettable that people lost their livelihoods. But I said there are lessons learned on the part of the youth. Even on the part of government, we know that we must deepen our efforts. We must provide more opportunities for our youth. The government is clear about that, and we're working in that direction.
The Speaker of the Youth Parliament, Mubarak Mijinyawa, appeals for tenure review, approve allowances and ensure exchange programs for the Parliament. In another development, Kaduna State Governor Nasiru Ahmad El-Rufai has called on the National Assembly and its Ad Hoc Committee on Constitutional Review to leverage on the recommendations of the APC through Federalism Committee to initiate either a piecemeal or comprehensive constitutional and legislative amendments conducive for modern governance. Governor El-Rufai was speaking at the just concluded Arewa House Golden Jubilee celebration in Kaduna. Muhammad Umar Ajingi reports.
After saluting the vision and sacrifices made by the founding fathers of the northern states, Governor Nasiru Ahmad El-Rufai told his elder statesmen, intellectuals, politicians and traditional rulers that it was time to act on recommendations of the APC Committee on True Federalism, which meant to lay the party's roadmap for nation's greatness.
The APC Committee on Federalism recommended that the Federation be rebalanced, with more powers and responsibilities devolved to the states. The committee also clarified that the Federation is a relationship solely between the states and the federal government, and that each state should be allowed to operate the system of local government that best suits its circumstances, culture, and diversity.
Governor El-Rufai says the committee chaired by him believes that Nigeria has come of age to restructure her laws, make necessary arrangements in her constitution for a modern governance system that will move the nation with the trend of the 21st century. Part of the recommendations by the committee is for states to exercise more powers in controlling resources to deliver better services to the people. In Kaduna, I am Muhammad Umar Ajingi, NTA News.
Let's join Adeola Komiakere in Lagos for reports.
Thank you, Kenny. The West African Examination Council, WAEC, has released the 2020 West African Senior School Certificate Examination results with 65.25% pass rate, an improvement on last year's 64% pass rate. Hinkino John Adams gives us details. Briefing the press in Lagos, head of Nigeria National Office of the Council, Patrick Aregan, disclosed that out of the 1,538,445 candidates that sat for the exam, 1,456,727, representing 94.69%, have their results fully processed and released, while 81,718, that is 5.31%, have few of their subjects still being processed due to some errors committed by the candidates. 86.99% of the candidates, as against last year's 82.35%, obtained credit and above in minimum of 5 subjects, with or without English language and mathematics.
The results of 215,149 candidates, representing 13.98% of the total number of candidates that sat the examination, are being withheld in connection with various reported cases of examination malpractice. The examination was also conducted in Chibok local government area of Borno State, the first time since the abduction of over 200 schoolgirls in the area by insurgents 6 years ago.
In the month of April, candidates of the West African Senior School Certificate Examination were left in uncertainties as a result of the initial cancellation and subsequent postponement of the examination caused by the coronavirus pandemic. On 17th of August, the candidates' anxiety was fully put to rest as the examination began with mathematics and ended on September 12. Barely 2 months after the examination, the results are out. In Lagos, Hingino John Adams, NTA News.
The wanton destruction of property carried out by some unidentified hoodlums under the guise of NSAS protest affected many public and private businesses, and the marks are still visible everywhere, attesting to this wastage. Here in Lagos, victims are collating their losses to enable them pick up the pieces and get back to work. That is why the Managing Director, Nigerian Ports Authority, Hadiza Bala Usman, toured the vandalized headquarters of the authority and assured maritime operators that business operations will be sustained without any form of delay or setback. Abolade Salami reports.
This 7-story building situated in Marina Road in Lagos Island serves as the corporate headquarters of the Nigerian Ports Authority, NTA, where cargo handling and maritime service operations are carried out. On the wake of the NSAS protest, when youths were demanding an end to all forms of police brutality, some unscrupulous persons took advantage of the protest to loot and vandalize both private and government property, and NPA was not spared. To assess the level of damage and impact of the fire on the building, the managing director said NPA's operation is not affected, while proper investigation has commenced to ascertain the financial implication of the damage.
What is paramount is our services are not interrupted. Our networks and our systems have been functional. Within 2 days of the incident, we're able to resume all port operations continued within 24 hours of the attack. We're also able to ensure that critical information and documents are safe. All our financing and payment systems have been protected, and we're not in any way affected.
Although no casualty was recorded, but the annex wing of the building and about 27 vehicles belonging to NPA and members of staff were burnt. Thus, the management said, will be documented while other necessary actions will be taken. She emphasized that the Nigerian Ports Authority will not be deterred in carrying out its constitutional role of offering cargo handling and storage services. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
That's it from here. Another break beckons. More reports when we return. To stay.
Judge Kadabeg.
I don't find the money. Plenty day to win for the 9 Mobile Mega Millions promo. 1 million naira for one person every day for 90 days. 2 smartphones every hour, every day for 90 days. 10 million naira star price leader. New customers just come with side or buy a new line, and we go send you free 1 gigabyte plus 500 naira airtime. So make you the recharge 200 naira or more. Make you for the win.
9 Mobile.
Chowder, non-stop. Non-stop chowder. Let's go.
Oh, stop. They are germs. You'll fall sick.
Daughter, why don't you stop them?
Mom, stopping the kids from playing stops the learning. That's why we stop the germs.
Indeed, Safeguard fights against germs. Safeguard removes 99% of germs.
Why don't you stop them? We have to stop. Not the kids, but...
Before, malaria they knock me basbos. And then one day, I go pharmacy.
Have you tried Malact? Malact is the effective malaria medicine from May and Baker, makers of quality medicines for over 75 years. Malact contains a combination active drug called dihydroartemisinin piperacin, which keeps working in your body for up to 6 weeks, stopping the malaria parasite from knocking you down. This is why Malact is your control button against malaria.
Now 3 tablets I take every day for 3 days.
Now some Malact give malaria boy want to act. Now my head be malaria. I go punch my own by Malact,
you
control button against malaria. Available in pharmacies near you.
Tough on stains with longer-lasting freshness. New Omo Extra Fresh with longer-lasting freshness. Tough on stains with longer-lasting freshness. New Omo Extra Fresh with longer-lasting freshness. Tough on stains with longer-lasting freshness. New Omo Extra Fresh with longer-lasting freshness.
It's the natural ingredients and rich flavor of Knorr that brings people together.
The Samsung Blue Tag sale is back by popular demand. Up to 20% off on selected mobile phones. Don't miss out on these great deals with up to 20% on selected TV and washing machines you will admire. And also refrigerators. That's cool. Find a Blue Tag for up to 20% off on selected Samsung products. T's and C's apply. For more information, visit Samsung.com or call 0800 Samsung. Disinfect and protect your home with Jik. Jik kills 99.9% of illness-causing germs. Disinfect floors, kitchen and bathroom surfaces, and wash white cloths, towels, and dishcloths with Jik bleach. Just Jik it. Disinfect and protect your home with Jik. Jik kills 99.9% of illness-causing germs. Disinfect floors, kitchen and bathroom surfaces, and wash white cloths, towels, and dishcloths with Jik bleach. Just Jik it.
Make a load recharge card, I beg.
I don't find the money. Plenty day to win for the 9 Mobile Mega Millions promo. 1 million naira for one person every day for 90 days. 2 smartphones every hour, every day for 90 days. 10 million naira star price day. New customers just come with side or buy a new line, and we go send you free 1 gigabyte plus 500 naira airtime. So make you the recharge 200 naira or more. Make you for the win.
9 Mobile.
Guess what?
What?
I scored a hat trick today.
Cool.
Wow.
And how did you celebrate?
Just do your hands like this.
And hold your nose like this.
Body odor is caused by germs. That's why you need the new improved Dettol Cool Soap, which protects against 99.9% odor-causing germs with an extra burst of menthol freshness. Dettol, be 100% sure.
Welcome back. Oil prices fall this Monday to their lowest since May. Muplang Dakok will bring you details on this and more on Business News. Hello, Muplang.
Hello, Kene. Thank you and welcome to Business News. The Extractive Industries Transparency Initiatives, IT, a coalition that promotes extractive transparency and accountability in over 50 countries, has commended the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, for honoring its commitment to promoting and deepening the culture of transparency and accountability. The AT's Executive Director, Mark Robinson, in a letter addressed to the Group Managing Director of NNPC, Mele Kyari, says NNPC has set a good example that will champion transparency for other national oil companies in Africa. The AT also commends NNPC's monthly publication of its financial and operations report since 2016, as well as recent publication of the corporation's 2018 and 2019 audited financial statements. The group's audited financial statement shows that NNPC has reduced its losses by 99.7% from 803 billion naira in 2018 to 1.7 billion in 2019. And oil prices fell more than 3% on Monday on worries a track of coronavirus lockdowns across Europe will weaken fuel demand, while traders braced for turbulence in the U.S. presidential election week. Brent was at $36.78 a barrel, down $1.16, still below the $40 mark, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate fell $1.24 to $34.55 a barrel. Russia's Energy Minister Alexander Novak met with executives of Russia's oil companies on Monday to discuss the OPEC Plus production cut deal. OPEC Plus is currently withholding a total of 7.7 million barrels per day from the market in the hope of stabilizing the oil prices. And on the stock market, the bears took hold of the first trading day of the week as investors lost 26.81 billion naira. The NSE All Share Index lost 0.17% to close at 30,479.39 basis points, while market capitalization stood at 15.9 trillion naira. Market bread closed negative as Dangote Sugar led 22 gainers as against 26 losers, topped by Mobil at the end of today's trading session. Fidelity Bank, Zenith Bank, and Dangote Sugar were the most active to boost market turnover. Zenith Bank and Dangote Sugar topped market value list. And that's it on business news this evening. Kene?
Thank you very much. After extensive deliberations, the Northern Governors Forum appreciated the roles of religious leaders and traditional rulers in containing the menace of NSAS protests in the North, and collectively agreed that traditional rulers be given formal roles in the governance architecture of the country. The meeting rejects and condemns the subversive actions of the NSAS protest, the superlative agitations and other change regime actions outside the ballot box that took advantage of the peaceful protest to push for a separative agenda. They endorsed the indivisibility, indissolubility and oneness of the nation. The meeting took note of the devastating effect of the uncontrolled social media and spreading fake news, and therefore called for a major control mechanism and censorship of the social media practice in Nigeria. The meeting warned strict watch on the Federal Capital Territory to guide against unwarranted and destructive protest to safeguard the critical assets of the nation. The National Assembly and the Presidency were acknowledged for being proactive in addressing the issues of NSAS protests across the country. Amicable resolutions of ASU strike to enable students resume their studies was also stressed by the meeting. Representative of the Inspector General of Police and again the Northern Governors Forum calls for collective efforts in addressing the lingering challenges of the North, including Almajiri system, insecurity, illiteracy, and poverty. The forum appreciates Mr. President and his cabinet for the quick intervention in meeting the demands of the NSAS protesters and resolved to give him the maximum support as he rolls out measures to address the lingering challenges of youth unemployment, banditry, and Boko Haram insurgency in the country. The roles of the youth for their response to the NSAS in curtailing the spread of hooliganism, thuggery, and other separatist tendencies were also acknowledged by the meeting and appreciates the major reforms going on in the police force and pledges to support Mr. President on this course. The meeting resolves to support the Nigerian police force to serve the country better and calls for the strengthening of trust between the people and the police. The meeting expressed concern over the low-level involvement of relevant stakeholders in the implementation programs of government and calls on the relevant agencies to review implementation strategies to make for maximum impact and benefits. It also condemns attacks on persons and properties of especially persons living in other parts of the country, and also condemns attacks and burning of places of worship in some parts of the country in the name of NSAS protests. Now, part of the vision of the Ministry of Environment in 2021 is nationwide deployment of automated flood early warning system equipment. This is to prevent the devastation of flood on communities. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports that the minister was at the House of Representatives for budget defense.
The Minister of Environment, Abubakar Mahmoud, listed projects proposed for implementation in 2021, numbering 147, which include new and ongoing projects located across the 36 states of the Federation and FCT. Aside the flood early warning system equipment, the ministry will intensify conservation, restoration and protection of the environment.
Ogoni Clement, Mr. Chairman, is something that is in the forefront. One of the really flagship projects of this administration. Remediation activities are completed in 10 sites, but so far 6 of which are waiting final certification by NOSDRA.
Other budget defense sessions involve the Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency, as it appeared before the House Committee on Poverty Alleviation to give more insights on its 2020 budget performance and projection for 2021.
Last year's budget was cut by 30%. We still need about 1 billion to complete the Abuja enterprise hub that we are combating, and we are doing it as a pilot project.
Meanwhile, the House Committee on Aviation, during an investigative hearing, has urged the Ministry of Aviation to suspend the planned concession of 4 airports in Nigeria. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Port Harcourt is where we go next, and Dibabari Domanweke is our guide.
Welcome to Port Harcourt. The State Security Council is to review the curfew in Oyibo Council area to ascertain the situation of things for further actions. Ogediekwe reports that the governor also sued for peaceful coexistence among all residents of the state.
The past few weeks have witnessed violence allegedly perpetrated by the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, in Oyibo and some other parts of the state. The violence, which led to the wanton destruction of property and loss of lives, would have degenerated into an ethnic crisis for the swift intervention of the State Security Council. Governor Wike met with representatives of non-indigens to fathom the way forward. He kicked against illegal detention camps at Ikoku Spare Pass Market, saying government will bring perpetrators to justice.
But please go home very well, and that Rivers State will protect every one of you. It is our duty. That's one major thing in governance, to protect lives and property. And talk to our children. We know things are hard, but criminality will not be the solution.
He appealed that people should respect constituted authority while pledging to continue to safeguard lives and property in the state. In Port Harcourt, Ogedinyekwere, NTA News.
Though it has been agreed by some schools of thought that the failure of any form of leadership to meet the needs of youths provoked the outrage which engulfed most parts of the country, negotiation has been described as the best option to right the wrongs. This reverberated in an interface between the Cross River State Governor and religious leaders as a first step towards reconciliation, peace, and development. Paul Abel has details.
This aim rendered here seems to set the atmosphere for these ones to interface for peace, just as Islamic clerics here also offer prayers for the unity of the country. Speaker after speaker spoke on the cause of the problem, proffered solutions while emphasizing on the need for Nigerians to go back to God.
Church. We bring to our people, Nigerian denominations, let them lay down their arms. Let peace be.
The state government is of the view that governance and growth are intertwined, and that resolution and not revolution is the best option rather than taking to crisis.
It draws the message of the collective failure of leadership and government, including crossing the state, failing to put food on the table for our young people.
Prayers were offered for the Cross River State, the country, governments at all levels. In Calabar, Paul Abel, NTA News.
And as our bit from here is back to Kenneth for the rest of the news.
Thank you, Dibabari. The federal government has explained that the delay in the payment of October 2020 salary to civil servants is due to the fact that the 2020 budget was passed before the conclusion of negotiation on the new minimum wage and its consequential adjustment. The head of Civil Service of the Federation, Dr. Folashade Yemiason, in a statement says a lump sum was, however, provided in the 2020 budget for minimum wage and its consequential adjustment. Dr. Yemiason also disclosed that a committee made up of representatives of the Federal Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning, the Budget Office and the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation has been set up to determine the shortfalls of ministries, extra-ministerial departments and agencies, MDAs. The committee is expected to conclude its work by the end of this week so that all salaries can be paid.
What they're trying to do, what Ministry of Finance Budget Office is trying to do now, is to work out how much belongs to each ministry.
Let's pause for another commercial break on the news. Do stay with us.
These days, people get their news and information from more media sources than ever before. Some of the news and information given are fake, unverified, doctored, and manufactured to create confusion, stir disaffection, and cause disunity. Before you believe or share any news, ask yourself, is this real? Is it from a credible source? Is it verified or verifiable? Fake news is dangerous. Whether you do it for fun or for political gains, real people can get hurt. Fake news, don't create it, don't spread it.
This is a public service announcement from NTA.
Welcome back as Gift George now brings us sports update.
The League Management Company has approved 13 stadia fit to host matches in the new football season. Among them are Teslim Balogun Stadium, Lagos, Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium, Benin City, Okigwe Township Stadium, Gombe Township Stadium in Pantami, Aparaku Stadium, Makurdi, Ahmadu Bello Stadium, Kaduna, Eyumba International Stadium, Aba, and Ilorin Township Stadium. Other stadia are expected to be upgraded ahead of the NPFL season bill to kick off later this month. Clubs whose home grounds are not ready prior to kick-off are to choose their home grounds from among those already certified. In tennis, the Polish-Brazilian pair of Lucas Kubo and Marcelo Melo on Sunday defeated Britain's Jamie Murray and Neil Skopsky 7-6, 7-5 to win a third Vienna title. In a related development, organizers of the ATP Finals in London have assured the flagship event will hold without fans following the announcement of a month-long COVID-19 lockdown in England. The 50th anniversary edition of the finals, which features the top 8 men's singles players and doubles teams, will be held at the O2 Arena in London for the last time from November 15 to 22 before it moves to Turin, Italy, for the next 5 years. In boxing, former Unified World Cruiserweight Boxing Champion Alexander Usyk hopes to be the undisputed World Heavyweight Champion, not just World Champion. The 33-year-old Ukrainian was speaking at Wembley Arena in London after defeating Derek Chisora in a heavyweight fight. The victory over the Briton Chisora means the Ukrainian remains mandatory challenger for Anthony Joshua's WBO belt. The sports update, Manzi Marcus, NTA News.
Of course, that was Amanzi Marcus on Sports Update. The Chief Imam Uthman bin Affan Mosque, Abuja, Abdul Jalil Dabo, has been laid to rest at the Gudu Cemetery, Abuja. The Imam died after a protracted illness. Kolo Mohammed was at the burial and now reports.
After the funeral prayer here at the Uthman bin Affan Mosque, also known as Banex Plaza Mosque, the corpse of Imam Dabo was taken to the Gudu Cemetery where it was interred according to Islamic injunctions. Leader of the federal government's delegation at the burial, Minister of Communication and Digital Economy, Isa Ali Pantami, exalted the departed Islamic scholar.
He lived an excellent life, and it is an indication that we must try to emulate the way he lived in this world.
We lost somebody who accepts everybody as one.
My father was a great mentor, not to the family alone, but to the entire Ummah.
Everyone that had contact with him know him to be a very humble personality.
Abdul Jalil Dabo has been the Imam of the Uthman bin Affan Mosque, Abuja, for many years. Kolo Muhammad, NTA News.
In the meantime, President Muhammadu Buhari on Monday joined thousands of Muslims in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, in mourning the demise of Imam Abdul Jalil Dabo, the chief imam of the Uthman bin Affan Islamic Center located at opposite Banex Emab Plazas, Wuse 2, Abuja. In his message to the family and the followers of the late Islamic leader, President Buhari, who was represented at the funeral by Dr. Isa Ali Ibrahim Pantami, the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, described the deceased Imam Dabo as a rare leader, bold and courageous enough to say the truth to those in power. The people of the FCT have lost a teacher and guide, and the Muslims in the country a leader bestowed with unique qualities and strength. We pray to Allah to reward his good deed, President Buhari added. President Muhammadu Buhari has expressed sadness over the death of a Kano-based community leader and renowned cleric, Muhammad Abdul Rabihi Adahama, describing him as a long-time friend and as well as an astute and courageous scholar. In the tribute, President Buhari praised late Khalifa of the Adahama clan in Kano City, whom he said openly supported his political aspirations for all the time he had been in politics. The deceased is the grandfather of the President's Senior Special Assistant on Youth Matters, Nasiru Adahama. Now let's check out tomorrow's weather.
The atmosphere is getting drier. That explains the haziness we're experiencing right now over the central and the north. With fresh dust plume raised over N'Djamena and following the trajectory of the winds, it's expected to keep the northern region in dust haze conditions with visibility ranging from 2 to 5 kilometers. However, Kano and Kaduna should experience a horizontal visibility of 1,000 meters. It should be sunny and hazy over the central cities, while the southern regions should see some patches of cloud with sunny spells. There are prospects of morning thunderstorms over parts of Calabar and Port Harcourt. And for the afternoon, while weather conditions over the north and central remain the same, we expect Warri, Calabar, Port Harcourt, some parts of Enugu and Lagos to see some thunderstorms. And that concludes the forecast for Tuesday. I'll leave you with the temperature forecast. I am Akami Samada. Bye for now.
We'd like to thank you for your time on the NTA Network News tonight. My name is Kenan Ima Aburiken. Have a good night.